Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BeardZone Football Podcast. I'm one of the hosts. My name is David. You know these two gentlemen right here, Theo, Glenn. How we doing today, gentlemen?
Feeling wonderful, man. Feeling good. How about
Beards
yourself,
are looking
Glenn?
good, fellas. Beards are looking good.
Yeah,
Beard check.
Yeah,
There it is.
Yeah.
Doing great, man. Doing great. Let's roll.
Yeah, let's do it, man. There was a lot of stuff that happened this week.
Oh yeah.
Some upsets that we saw last week during the Super Wild Card weekend. We will definitely dive into that. But guys, let's just go ahead and let's just dive right into everything that is happening in the coaching world right now. Looks like Bill Belichick is going to be an Atlanta Falcon head coach, which to me, as a fan for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the NFC South, I don't know how I feel about that because they have a high draft pick. I mean,
big dump right there, man. So okay, so you got Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh,
so many good
there,
coaches,
and they were like, "Oh, Mike Tomlin, Mike McCarthy," and I'm like, "Mike Tomlin ain't going anywhere, guys. Let's be real."
Nah.
Mike McCarthy's staying. I can understand he's in the same conversation as Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, and Pete Carroll as far as Super Bowl win ratio, stuff like that, regular season wins, all that, playoffs. So Bill Belichick to the Falcons is such a weird concept to me, not just because of the whole Patriots organization thing, but it's more like, why? You have a lot of youth, you have a lot of way forward, but you don't have a franchise quarterback. You have an organization that knows how to make a football team go because they've gone to the Super Bowl twice. But I don't think they have that defensive edge that Bill Belichick wants. I don't know.
I heard that his comment was he wanted to go to a team that was not like he was not looking for a team that was already like successful, but he wanted to go to a team that had talent that was not successful. So like Falcons are like the top of that bunch there if you're gonna look at teams with talent but unsuccessful. But my whole thing is that for the Falcons, you're going from Arthur Smith, who's technically a child of that system. He's like, Vrabel came from Belichick.
Yep.
Arthur Smith came from Vrabel. It's like technically, it's like the system is similar.
Yeah, but is he that cousin that like everyone acknowledges, but it's like, stay in your corner?
Yeah,
dude. I mean,
that's Arthur Smith to me, man. He's like, yo, they're at the barbecue, or they're at the family reunion. You're like, oh, you stay over there, bro.
Yeah,
100%.
Hey,
100%.
thanks for showing up, man. We got a table for you right over here, bro.
The kids, bro.
He's the cousin that know and all of this.
At the mini table in the corner of the. But the thing about it is that Arthur Smith, I mean, he just, dude, like, think about the weapons that Bill Belichick can have if he goes to Atlanta. I mean, like, and that was one of the biggest things that he didn't have in his last few years in New England. He didn't have the weapons around.
Actually have more than 5 yards.
Kyle Pitts can actually, probably score more touchdowns. So does his fantasy rating go up at this point? I mean, that's another topic of discussion. Like, quick with the no.
We're missing the same key cog that the Atlanta team has been missing for the last 4 years. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but we have a deep quarterback class now, right? So they have a high draft pick.
But we
have a deep quarterback class. I mean, Bill Belichick missed on his last one, right? I mean, he missed on Mac Jones.
On his last 50, he missed.
Okay, chill, relax, dude. I'm talking specifically about quarterback, though. I'm talking specifically about quarterbacks, though. Yeah, I mean, yes, he has missed. He's not been the best. I will say
he
that.
was the GM. He was the GM as well. Don't forget. So it wasn't
right, and I know that. But so he's not going to be a GM in Atlanta, though. That's not how they're interviewing him.
That might be for the best.
I was looking at the draft coming up. I was looking at the draft coming up, and it's just. So maybe you and Glenn would have to like help my decision even more, because I'm thinking from what I'm seeing in the draft boards that are shaping up, we got 3 quarterback needy teams that are just it's looking like it's going to be bing bang bang quarterback. It's going to be Caleb Williams, Drake May and Jaden Daniels. Like that's what I'm seeing the most of. Like Bears, Commanders, Patriots all need a quarterback. Quote unquote need a quarterback. They're gonna so like after that we have Penix, Bo Nix. Who else? Like are we
I think Bo
are
Nix would be a
is
perfect fit for Atlanta.
yeah, you think? I mean, y'all talk to me. Tell me. Because I'm hearing mixed things about Penix and Bo Nix. I know Penix got injured. I don't know. He had a rough last game.
The
It was a
only
little
problem with
off.
Bo Nix is that he's like already almost 30 years old. So,
Yeah, he's like on the top end. I think he's kind of like a Hendon Hooker. He's like 26 years old or something like that. But that's keep
statistics
in
for that
mind it's
kind
the
of player.
experience level, right? So Bill Belichick historically has worked with an experienced quarterback. He had Drew Bledsoe before Tom Brady, and Tom Brady sat behind Drew Bledsoe and still came out and flourished, right? But he had Tom for 20 years. So the type of quarterback that he's used to is more of the traditional pocket passer, play action. You can get that with pretty much any of the top 5 that you just listed. It's just a matter of how well that offensive coordinator can cater to that rookie quarterback. Like we saw this with Justin Fields' maturity coming into the second half of this season. I don't think the Bears should take a quarterback in the first slot. I just don't. They should just take Marvin Harrison Jr., some O-line, some D-line, and try and pick up someone later or trade for them in the second round. Caleb Williams does not have the mental maturity in my eyes to kind of take that top first pick or take a very rookie team or junior team. I just don't see it. He has all the capabilities in natural athletics to do it. I just don't think he has that head. He doesn't have that CJ Stroud calmness or that, love for the Green Bay Packers. Drake May is outrageously mature. Obviously, you got Penix and Nix as the senior guys in this class. Daniels absolutely showed maturity in the second half of the season with LSU. So do I think they're very close? Absolutely. I think that these 5 quarterbacks are very close to the talent gap as compared to previous years. I think where it's the mental headspace and timing and all that stuff, where do you get that mental agility and that understanding of that NFL playbook now where you can go through your mic, your line, your safety reads within like 3 seconds of getting to the line, make an audible. Penix did that. Bo Nix did that. Daniels absolutely did that. I think the mental IQ there from the quarterback's perspective has to be present when you make that pick. Otherwise, you're taking a gamble like they did with Mariota and Winston. I thought when the Bucs picked up Winston, that was trash. And look how it played out. So from a head coach standpoint, Belichick will absolutely have his 2 cents, but it's still up to the GM. I'm sure that they're going to have their big board like everyone else does. It's going to be blurred out whenever they hit it up on the NFL draft. But from the head coach standpoint, you have to either understand that you're going to take that gamble, which the Falcons have already done in the past, and I don't think they like that as an organization. If they do take Belichick, I think they're going to make a more educated approach to this with a system type fit. Not necessarily, that's the number 1 guy, so we're going to take him. That's not Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, it is interesting, but it does seem like that it's heading in that direction. I think that they just had the second interview with Bill today.
Yeah.
I think that they had like it was like an Arthur or not. It was the owner of the Falcons and Bill Belichick. Like that was like the first interview. Like I think that was just, that. I don't know if they have a GM in place. I would have to, I don't know if they fired their GM with Arthur Smith. But I mean, Bill Belichick going to Atlanta would be kind of wild. He would have some weapons, though, to kind of play around with. The quarterback piece, though, is going to be the major issue, right? If you don't have a quarterback to, spread the ball around to those weapons, then what's the point?
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
It is a good quarterback class,
too. You still got other head coaches up there, man. You got Vrabel, you got Carroll.
You do, and so let's talk about that really quick. Why is no one? I haven't heard of anyone reaching out to Vrabel.
Yeah, no, he's done some interviews. I saw today. I got an update today that he had just interviewed with. I think he interviewed with the Chargers. I think he interviewed with the Chargers today, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, that would be. I think that's the ideal landing spot, right? Yeah, Justin Herbert.
Yeah. For most, I think that's where that's where a coach wants to go right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You got Harbaugh, right? He'd be going back to California.
And Harbaugh does sound like he's going to be coming to the pros. Like he's entertaining a lot of teams right now, including the Atlanta Falcons, right? The Atlanta Falcons interviewed him. They brought in Bill for their second interview. I'm sure they're going to bring in Jim for their second interview, just like to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, Glenn. They're going to make a more educated approach about this because they want to win now. And the owner made that very clear. Like, we are like
always had talent and they've never finished. It's just it's so sad. And you know what's crazy is the Bears are actually considering looking at another head coach. The Cardinals as well are in that mix. So you got Titans, you got the Bears, you got Cardinals. And it's Belichick to the Falcons makes this whole thing kind of like flip on its head. Pete Carroll's up there in age as long with Belichick. So
not Pete Carroll. I haven't heard anything about. I don't even know.
So well, I think he may be older, but he's got.
But I think Pete Carroll is still in Seattle.
I heard.
Yeah, he's just more of like a front. I think they, from what it sounds like from his interviews and everything else like that, it sounds like he was kind of forced that hand to leave. But they were like, "Hey, we're going to keep you in the building, but you're not going to be on the sideline anymore." So
like what about Arians?
What? Yeah, kind of. So. What if, I mean, dude, Seattle, Vrabel? I mean, Vrabel to Seattle, that wouldn't be too bad either.
Get the Legion of Boom back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know?
That's actually
I think Seattle is also
running philosophy, defensive.
Oh, did they have Charbonnet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Michigan. He was a good dude. He was a good wrecking ball there. And they had someone
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
1-2
Kenneth Walker just, he got hurt this year, but I mean, outside of that, I mean, he's been a really good guy. So that's someone that Vrabel.
Did Geno Smith, wasn't he on a 2-year?
He was with Seattle.
They got to, but
I think
he was
still
on a 2-year,
1 or 2
right?
more years on his contract. He extended with them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And you still got was it
because they gave him like a 3 or 4 year deal, right?
Oh, I thought it was 2-year.
I thought it was more 2 with the option of the third. But he still has Tyler Lockett, who probably has maybe 1 or 2. I know he's on the back end of his wide receiving. You still got a defense that needs to heal, though. I know they lost Bobby Wagner. I think I'm like 2 years behind on that deal. Sorry. But you can bring back some of that defense into the Seattle Seahawks again. They haven't been that team since Pete Carroll took them and choked on the 1 yard line. But
oof. Yeah, just run the ball.
Coaching carousel, I think we're going to wait for those first 2 big punches, and then it's going to marinate, or it's going to sit there and do that like downhill slide where like coaches just getting picked up left and right, and it's like, well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, I'd say Belichick.
I think that's going to be.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the direction where it's going to go. I think once Jim and Bill get their landing spots, I think the other teams are going to go and be like, okay, so this is the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
It's like what does Bill do?
Yeah.
And then like everyone's going to be like, all right, cool, here we go. Now the thing is though, with Bill leaving the Patriots, they picked up Gerard Mayo. I thought that was a very interesting choice. I was kind of confused at first, but then I realized he's been on the staff for a decent amount of time, and he's already got that Patriot way. He was a player before he won Super Bowls, so he understands what needs to be done. But
is the Patriot way going to continue?
No. Different.
I don't
different
think you
head.
Yeah,
it's
it needs to be a different way.
Different GM.
Yeah,
they had the same GM for the past 23 years. It was Bill Belichick. So Robert Kraft now has to go out and look for that guy to play the GM. How do you more or less recruit for your team? Who do you pick up?
What if Robert Kraft does a Jerry Jones?
Dear God, no. That's such a bad idea. Obviously, it has not worked for any other.
I'm not saying that it does, but I mean, Robert Kraft. It came out that Robert Kraft for so long, was like there was like the headbutt between him and Bill about, player personnel and who do they keep and who do they not keep. And that was the whole,
When it went
started
downhill
with
for the
Jimmy
Cowboys?
G and everything else like that. So what if Robert Kraft is just like, screw it, I'm paying the bills around here.
Say it, Glenn.
What
Say
went downhill for the Cowboys is when they got rid of Jimmy Johnson, because Jimmy Johnson didn't Bill Belichick. He's not. Bill Belichick's not the first person to do that. GM and head coach. That was Jimmy Johnson of the Cowboys, and Jerry Jones didn't like it. He wanted to be in control because that's how he is. He's a control freak. As soon as he got rid of Jimmy, they lost the last. They did not repeat a Super Bowl. They had to wait another season to do it because they had to rebuild that culture and that system. And they haven't won a Super Bowl since. So who's wrong there, Jerry?
Yeah,
Your
I heard
not working,
very. Bro. Yeah.
I'm not saying the head coach needs to be the GM. I'm just saying he needs to let it go because clearly he's back in the 1900s somewhere, and he's just. You're a billionaire, dude. You can afford it. Let's be real. And other teams are winning Super Bowls with less, so figure it out.
Look at what Jason Light has been able to do in Tampa with the way that he's drafted over the last. Yeah,
perfect example.
What I've heard is that someone was talking about it earlier this week, and they said a very interesting thing. I haven't never heard it put like this before. If you know the owner, if you know the name of the owner of a football team, it's usually not a good thing.
Unless
Think about
you're
all
Jim
the owners' names that we know. But no, Irsay has been terrible. He's been like. Is this who I'm thinking about? Irsay from the Colts?
The Colts?
Yeah. I mean, he took over an organization that was trash to begin with and then built it to what it was. If he did not have Peyton Manning,
and then he also moved. He also moved it.
He's the one who moved them from Baltimore?
Yeah, he was the one that removed them from Baltimore. Overnight, it was just like, hey, guys, we're not the Baltimore Colts anymore. We're going to be the Indianapolis Colts. So,
the NFL was like, and we're like,
very upset about that.
So
it did. Yeah, he brought a couple of Super Bowls to that city, or one. But
speaking of Baltimore, dude, the Ravens have their first playoff game against
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, your boy,
against the Texans. Yes, sir.
That's wild. That is so wild. And you know what's crazy? Stroud and Love had like almost identical games in their first playoff game. It was just it's going to be really good. And you know what's crazy is the Baltimore defense, though. That if CJ Stroud's going to prove his worth as a rookie and beat the Ravens, I don't.
If he goes into Baltimore and beats the Ravens, which let me just say this really quick. I think I have to come out because you guys owned up to it. I didn't believe that we could beat the Eagles. I didn't. I did not think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would do what they did on Monday night against the Eagles.
Yeah, we do need a quick recap.
And so I have to apologize. I have to apologize about that first and foremost. And now we're going into Detroit, which that's going to be an electric game.
I'll
and we can
apologize.
definitely dive into
doubting
that.
Baker. I doubted him. I said straight up, prove it. I threw the shenanigans flag. Baker might be legit for us. He came in. It was funny because someone caught it. He was like sniffing the salts. Bet on himself. He came into the game sniffing the salts. Like, never bet against Baker when he's sniffing the salts before. I was like, all right, now I'm going to have to go back and watch the tape again. But he wasn't high on completion percentage, but he knew who to throw to. Evans was kind of dropping some balls in the beginning. He got it to Palmer. He got it to, who was the other guy, number 83? Thompson.
David Moore.
Was it Moore and Thompson?
Ooh, that David Moore play was
that David Moore.
Dirty.
He made the big play in Green Bay, too.
Yep. And we have the youth and the speed. Like, people forget how fast Mike Evans actually is, and he was burning people.
Dude, Trey Palmer is very fast.
Trey Palmer is very fast. And
very fast.
Dude, Rachaad White in that first drive, I was like, let's go. Dude's running people over. He got a little animated and forgot what to get, like which counter and which fake to do on one play, but I got it. But man, he was coming out strong. And it was like, Philly's on the heels from the beginning of the game. Hurts was looking a little shaky. And we denied the tush push.
Blitz.
For the second time, by the way.
Yeah.
The regular season, we did it again.
Yep,
Vea.
we stopped him. Hey, Vita Vea, Greg Gaines got
Mhm.
underneath Travis Kelce, or not Travis Kelce, but Jason Kelce, and I mean that's how you beat that. You have to be the lowest man, and usually
Mhm.
Jason Kelce
Mhm.
is the lowest man, and so.
Shout out
But
to Jason Kelce being like one
Yeah.
of the best centers to play, man. Seriously.
yeah, seriously,
Yeah.
he's
Very-
probably going to retire. I know that he came out on the New Heights podcast and was just like, "Hey guys, like it's
I think
nothing
he's
is
done.
official." Yeah, but I think it is. I think that he just wanted to kind of control the narrative about it. That's why I think that he
Yeah.
probably said what he said. But
Mhm.
no, I mean it was
for
a
Sirianni's job, dude. That's the crazy
Yeah.
part of the coaching carousel. They were asking for Sirianni's
Dude.
job, and I'm like, whoa. Like he just brought y'all
Yeah.
to the Super Bowl last year, so
Yeah. I'm like,
let's
yeah.
slow down.
Everyone's
But-
so fickle.
well, they've been in the
People are
playoffs for the
way
past
too
3
fickle.
years.
Yep. And on top of that, like they were super hot. You know what? I saw another statistic. The top 3 teams that went either 11-0, which I think was one of Ben Roethlisberger's seasons with the Steelers, and then 10-1 was Patriots, and then the other 10-1 season was, I believe, this year with the Philadelphia Eagles. And guess what happened?
Yeah.
They all 3 lost in the first round of the playoffs. Wild, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean Eagles were already on kind of like a downhill trend, you
Yeah,
know. But I
Their
mean Tampa,
defense was just a Swiss cheese.
Yeah, that team that they
Yeah.
were a sieve. That's a defense. That's one of the things I was thinking. Even when you said like you mentioned like I don't think we can. I was just like, man, this team was on as a team on their heels. They did not come into this postseason on
Mm-mm.
good terms. They came in losing a bunch of guys. AJ Brown out, taking some weird losses. Morale, you got to think, was not at the highest. All of these things just equal like what we saw in that game. There's a complete implosion because from what we saw, that should have been at least a more competitive game than it was. And
Yeah.
to me, you guys dominated the whole way through. So I mean, I think at their best, that would have been a much more of a fight. But they were definitely a team that was limping into the playoffs. So, like, destroyed, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and I mean the
But-
Bucks won their last 5 out of their last 6, they won 5 of their last 6. So I mean they're definitely on the right trajectory. They are definitely getting hot right now. It's definitely
Mhm.
going to be an uphill battle against Detroit, and we'll dive more into that here in a little bit. Let's get into these other games because there was definitely some other games that happened this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Jordan. It looked. Hey, did we not
Mhm.
say it last week? Did we not say it last week? Green Bay just has the gift of having to be able to draft quarterbacks.
Who?
Nope.
We them
Can't
who?
say it anymore.
We them
Absolutely
no,
no.
we them losers.
Denied.
That's what they are.
You them chumps.
Yeah,
'Cause,
absolute.
yeah.
Just, I mean,
Jordan
dude,
Love
yeah.
how
cannot
can
play.
how can you
a
allow the Green Bay
pitiful-
Packers to come into Jerry World and just beat you like that?
A pitiful
Clean,
performance,
man,
just
clean.
disgraceful.
It
Just
was
like,
just.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, man! I mean,
Yeah.
Jerry
Aaron
Jones,
Jones.
literally, the shots to Jerry Jones in the suite were awesome.
He turns
Like
around,
he
he's
was just
you're
like
fired. You're fired. You're fired. Like I think I shot you guys.
he was
that
so
game.
done.
Yeah, he was like not even end of the first quarter. He's like, "You are all fired." Like you could probably
Yeah.
see it, man.
It was
If he did,
over
it
with
wouldn't
by the
surprise
time the first quarter was over.
Yeah,
it was
it was
literally
pretty- it
the
was pretty
national
done.
championship game last year all
Yeah.
over again.
Yep.
No, it's really ridiculous, and that team has much less of an excuse, like you said, than the Eagles. Like they had their star defensive player on the field. They had all of these things that like CeeDee Lamb and Dak were there. Brandon Cooks, who was doing stuff all season, like they had, like all everything that they got was garbage time points. Like we all know that
Yeah.
end score was not what the score was. The score of
Not
that
anywhere
game was 40 something to 16. That's the actual score. The extra 20
Yeah.
points they put up in garbage time is nothing. But yeah, just like I said, like I don't know. I don't like that team has a ton of questions to ask themselves over this offseason. I really don't know what they're gonna do. Mike McCarthy is staying. I have no, for the record, no issue with that. And Cowboys fans should probably stop crying about that too, because I think there's other issues that they need to deal with other than losing Mike McCarthy as a head coach. Like, you need a linebacker pretty bad. Like, you need some other things to fix.
Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Dan Quinn is probably out of there too. So, like.
Well, he's another name that's been going around for a possible head coaching vacancy. So
he's been interviewing
the
a couple
Falcons
places.
know better. The Falcons know better about Dan Quinn.
The Falcons do.
Yeah.
28 and
the
3.
Falcons do.
28 to 3.
But Tennessee probably doesn't know that better. You know, I could see him going to Tennessee. You know, kind of keep the defensive minded coach within the building. But I mean, Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Dude.
Yeah.
What do you say? They
years.
simply outplayed.
30 years of solid quarterback for the Packers. And just like,
how do they do it? It's not fair.
They're like, okay, we're going to have a Hall of Fame quarterback. We're going to draft another quarterback in the first round when he still has a solid 4 to 5 years left. And then we're going to let him sit on the bench. We're going to pay this man to sit on the bench, and we're going to take the heat. And then when he goes in there, he's going to be the mirror image of this guy.
We're going to roll with him, and then the next guy, and then
and then the
probably.
Next guy.
I know this is far. This is far.
Yeah, we're far.
The way he's playing right now, like him and CJ.
Yeah. I mean, they had did y'all see like the thing with their stats from last week side by side? Like they were
it was like identical.
3 touchdowns,
in,
like
what they put up.
270.
Like
they threw exactly 21 passes and completed exactly 16.
Yeah.
The yardage was slightly different. The touchdowns were identical, and I'm like, did we just watch the same game?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean,
we're all part of the Matrix.
Dallas's defense is the biggest problem to me because you had Bland, arguably rookie defensive player of the year. He set a record for pick sixes in a season as a rookie.
True.
You have Micah Parsons. Like, you have Lawrence on the other side of that edge. Where you have Stephon Gilmore. So where are your gaps? Because technically Parsons is an edge / outside linebacker guy. So
yeah, Parsons can play everywhere. But the thing about it is that Parsons got shut down. He did not get any quarter. He did not get one quarterback pressure.
I think he had one in the very beginning. But outside of that, he was whatever. Which is insane because him and Myles Garrett are like the prototype edge guys.
Yeah. It didn't make any sense. They just got sliced up, and then their offense didn't help out with, the couple of turnovers that Dak did. So, it was a mess from the very jump. I love the fact that, the Green Bay Packers were just like, they kind of did what Bucs did against the Eagles. They were just like, we're going to come out fast. We're going to hit them right in the mouth, and we're just going to continue to put the foot on the gas and not slow down. So
we were talking about head coaches, and if anyone recalls, in the beginning of the season, people were talking about Matt LaFleur and potentially having, is this his test year with Jordan Love, or do we can him after this year because he can't do anything with the generational quarterback here? Because you had a rough year with Rodgers and everything else, and you went to the Jets. Is it LaFleur? Blah, blah, blah. Clearly, it's not LaFleur.
No.
So,
yeah,
Packers are good to go there.
Stop being so forgetful as a fan base, all of us, because it's amazing how quickly we're ready to turn on a coach after a coach has delivered us like winning years, Super Bowls, all of these things, and it's just like as soon as you start to see an inkling of like dysfunction or something like that, the world just goes on fire. These coaches, I'm like, guys.
They were going to fire Stefanski.
Let's
look what he did with Joe Flacco. Now the Browns kind of shocked me. I'm not going to lie, because I thought the Browns had the hot streak coming in with Joe Flacco and this win streak, and he was putting people up with Njoku. But wow, did the Texans come to play?
Yeah,
just DeMeco Ryans.
We called for the Browns.
Has to be the coach of the year.
Yeah,
I love Dan Campbell. I love what he's doing. But DeMeco Ryans has to be the coach of the year.
They were like
to do what he's doing in his
something.
first year with the Texans.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
With the rookie quarterback, did you see that little mic'd up clip where he literally one of his defensive players, I forget the name, but he got an interception against Joe Flacco. It was one of the 2 pick sixes that happened, and he pulled him off to the side. It was the linebacker, I think it was number 48. But he pulled him off to the side, and there's a mic'd up clip where DeMeco Ryans is just like, listen, sit right here, watch the quarterback.
Oh, I
and
heard
just,
about this.
And just wait. And then he goes, and as soon as you see him throwing, he's like, jump in front of it. He's like, I promise you'll get a pick.
He's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Like J.J. Watt, I think today with Pat McAfee said that, hey, what's going on, Cap? Like, he was the captain of the defense, so he knows how to read quarterback. So let's be real. And Joe Flacco's been around, so he probably has some telltale signs. And I just could have sworn that the Browns had it. Clearly,
same.
my assessment was dead
Same
wrong.
Here.
No,
CJ Stroud.
We continue to be proven wrong by the AFC South.
CJ Stroud, man, that's what it comes down to. CJ Stroud is just like we still all have that thing where we just underestimate this guy.
Yeah.
That is this rookie that comes in and has more talent than we expect them to. So kudos to him. I mean, great game, great player.
Definitely.
He's going to be great for years to come.
Devin Singletary got dumped by the Bills and picked up by the Texans, and he had a stellar game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to talk about script writing, we could potentially see the Bills play the Texans
in the AFC
and have a
Championship.
Singletary. Devin Singletary has a comeback game against his old team. This would be. I can't keep up with this. But
I think we got one more. We'll just to quickly go over, and then I think we can roll right into you guys versus the Tampa Bucks versus the Lions, because
he wants to go fast.
Let's get over this part quickly.
He wants to go fast because of the Rams.
Lions won. Yes, they won. Listen, I've had enough time to accept it and to deal with it. Go ahead, David. Just go ahead.
Did I not say? You thought I said it? I said you thought that Jared Goff was going to allow this to happen? No, he was going to get away with the dub, and that's exactly what he did.
They did it for Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford did it for Eminem.
Game script helped him.
And listen, the ball was in his hand though at the end of the game to put the game away, and you said that he didn't have the dog in him, and he does.
Man, Theo came with the gunshots this time. God.
Now we have now. Because of the NFL scriptwriters, though, we do have the Forgotten Quarterback Bowl this week with Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield. And so, two guys,
first overall picks, right? Both were the first picks.
First overall picks.
Uh-huh.
They both got kind of dumped by their teams. Now Jared Goff has had a little bit more streamline. He was just Rams, Lions. Baker Mayfield's kind of been tossed around a little bit, but. Look, man, it's going to be a game. I think that Tampa is going to come in here, and I think that they're going to ball out. I don't know if they're going to win. I mean, but I didn't think that they were going to win last week. So
the Rams.
I don't know, but Detroit is on the next level.
Puka and Matt Stafford exposed the Lions' big play defense. Let's be real, because the one
Mike
thing
Evans,
the Bucs
maybe?
Absolutely what?
Mike Evans, big game for Mike Evans now.
Either that or Godwin. I mean, equally could probably do it. I mean, we did big plays on like a 3-yard screen, let's be real, against the Eagles. So if you want to take a look at the adjustments, look at the second half of each game between the Bucs and the Eagles, and then the Lions and the Rams. Rams came out and absolutely adjusted, did the big plays. Matt Stafford was kicking it around, sidearming it like they used to in Detroit. So Puka and Stafford with Cup, that's going to be great looking forward to next year. But what they did is they absolutely exposed the passing big plays against the Lions defense. The Lions defense absolutely has to come up and play against them. Now, the Bucs blitz a lot, and they put the pressure on Hurts. I would like to go back and watch some tape against Goff and his pressure reads and stuff, because I believe when they played on Thanksgiving, he had an issue with responding to pressure. I have to take a look at the tape again.
I would say that's
because Green Bay won.
Yeah,
right.
I think he did, but also I almost feel like they also have a little bit more of an answer for that in a direct kind of slot guy in Amon-Ra. Someone a little bit quicker to get off. Like if you start blitzing him too much, I think he does have the weaponry to kind of pick you
We
apart
got
there.
Robert
Where
Woods too, so
Robert Woods?
isn't he on the
He's
Lions?
No, he's on the
No,
Texans.
they got Josh
Oh,
Reynolds.
Yes, Texans.
Josh,
Reynolds. There we go.
Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I think they do have a little bit more of an answer for that than the Eagles did. But I think your defense is going to be where you guys win the game if you do win. It has to be, it has to be something where you guys kind of put an end to some of the big plays and the blitz thing. I don't think blitzing as much as you did is going to be the answer. I think it's going to be more kind of patience and watching Goff, and this just, to me, after a while, if you kind of guys that spy him, keep an eye on him throughout. Like, I feel like Goff is a guy that has been picked off when he's not really paying attention to that. So like, getting pressure on him, but also having good guys out there to make plays. Like your corner there, what's his name again?
Carlton Davis, Jamel
Yeah.
Dean.
Davis.
Dude, Dean strong too.
Dean did come up strong last game. He was pretty much lined up against Devontae Smith the entire game. Although Carlton Davis had a big stop there in the end zone when they went for it on that 4th and 5. I think it was after the neutral zone by our corner on the field goal attempt, which just took more points off the board for them.
Yeah, that was very weird. So it's crazy.
It's gonna be a good game,
spy,
man.
You bring up the spy, right? So
it should be a good
Britt, Theo brought the QB spy. If you watched Logan Hall off the edge, we can get the pressure there with Vita Vea in the center. I think if you watch the transition from KJ Britt and Devin White, those two guys can absolutely do a spy on Jared Goff to watch the flare outs or the short out routes from Montgomery. I think that'd be a very good key if we're not blitzing. Now, I think our safeties are still kind of hazy without, like, if Winfield has to shade over to a different side to compensate, I think that's where we kind of run into an issue there with like deep crossing routes. Because it was actually the Bucks game. I can't remember. I think it was Thompson on that the crossing route when the two DBs hit each other. It was Bradbury and somebody else. They just collided. So I think we just have to watch where we're doing our man versus zone. How can you tell if a DB is going to potentially get the edge on a wide receiver? You watch his hips and his feet. Guaranteed. If they're going to shade one way or another. Stephon Gilmore hides that. That's why he was doing so well for his entire career. How Davis and Dean respond to that particular scenario, that would be nice to watch. And it's going to be a heck of a game. Both teams know how to play the deep ball. And Baker's just going to have to show up like he did this time.
Yeah.
It
should be a really good game. I think that we're in for much tighter games this week than we saw last week.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna make the calls at the end, right?
Yep.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and we'll make all the calls at the end of it. But so Bucks Lions should be a fantastic matchup. The other NFC game we got, San Francisco versus Green Bay, which seems to be another historic playoff, game.
Mr. Irrelevant versus Jordan Love. Let's go.
This should be another. I don't think that people understand that. This should be a good game.
People are doing it again. They're doing it again where they're saying that this 49ers are just going to win. Don't. Watch out.
Don't.
So I looked at ESPN percentages, and was it Baltimore, Lions, San Francisco all have 60 to 70% chances of winning. The only home team that has closer to 50 is the Bills. And it's wild, man. But I think San Francisco's
they're
defense
against the Chiefs.
I know. It's the Mahomes effect, I think. It's the Brady effect. It's more like the Mahomes effect now.
Yeah.
And going back to the Niners and the Packers, historically, this is Super Bowl heaven, right? When it comes to NFC championships. And both of them right now are at a hot moment coming into the second half of the season, into the playoffs. The 49ers are that top team for the NFC. You got the new hotness in Jordan Love and the youngest team in the NFL, technically. So you have a impeccable defense and a hot offensive team right now with the Packers versus the impeccable defense of the 49ers. And Brock Purdy traditionally does not turn the ball over. So neither does really Jordan Love if you look at his stats.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning,
What
he
we
was
got, Theo?
he flirted a little bit with it, and in the beginning, but he's gotten much better over the season. I'm just gonna say one thing. I'm gonna make, and this is gonna be a blanket statement for my throughout these games. This buy the teams want to play for. These buy the teams want to earn and fight for, and fight for this buy. This buy is dangerous, man. This buy,
Yes,
in my
it
experience
is.
in watching football, this buy
It
is
is.
very, very dangerous. And if teams don't come out with the right mentality, they come out cold. When a
Yep.
team that is hot is coming at them,
Yep.
it doesn't end. It doesn't end pretty. So that's all. That's what
No.
I'm saying about this game. Like, I have vibes about this game, or people are feeling like the 49ers should just come and do what they always do. They got a great defense. The offense has been humming all season. They've been off a week, and the Packers have just been stewing and playing and feeling that those underdog vibes. So, this is gonna be a game.
It should be. I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game than people are anticipating. And as Glenn was talking earlier, this was exactly what I was saying about with what you were just saying, Theo. Is that week off? Yes, you can recover. Yes, you can get healthy. There's many benefits to that week being off, but there's also a lot of detriment to you having that week off because now maybe you're a little bit more stiffer. So it's going to be a good game. Now, Kyle Shanahan did say he was just like, look, we started preparing for the Packers like after the end of the first quarter against the Dallas Cowboys. Like when I was watching that, I was like, okay, we're going to be playing the Packers. So
off the game.
Right.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, film study. Here it is.
Practice now.
We only need the first 15 minutes, y'all. We're good.
Yep. So now it is in San Francisco, so they're going to have the home field advantage. I think that if on paper, you give the edge a little bit to San Francisco. But this young offense for the Green Bay Packers, if Jordan Love can play like he played this last week, and that offensive line can protect him the same way that they protected him against a very strong pass rush in Dallas, they're going to be facing up against another strong pass rush in San Francisco now. But if he can play, they have a very good chance of winning because we talk about the San Francisco's defense. Green Bay's defense, when healthy, is very solid.
Yes.
Very solid. They can get after the quarterback and they can cover. They have a good secondary, so it should be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey is going to be the key man to that to me.
Yeah, the run game is gonna.
If you can't stop Christian McCaffrey, the game is over. It's over.
Christian CMC and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones looks absolutely phenomenal in old school form last game.
He looked amazing. He looked amazing.
Yeah, dude, Aaron Jones was awesome last week. It was good to see him out there running around like he did, man, because he did look like his old self. Like, he was hot. So
speaking of old self, though, who else is looking like that in the AFC? I'll give you one guess.
Old self.
Lamar Jackson.
Old self.
Lamar Jackson is absolutely coming out looking like his old self, man. And he's not as nimble, I don't think, because he's showing his more maturity in the pocket, which people forget he can sling it, dude. It's like a whipping motion, man. It's not like Penix where it looks like just a shotgun coming out, but like he just whips it down and it just drops right in. OBJ and him are clicking right now. Their defense is spectacular, man.
Unbelievable.
I don't think you can compare it to like early 2000s Ravens defense because it's just a different era, and I think they would be flagged like 90 times in a game now. But the way John Harbaugh's got that team right now, they were potentially looking at his job in the same contract as Lamar Jackson. Like, do we keep him? Do we get rid of him? Blah 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 blah. He got a Super Bowl, but I think what you look at with the Ravens and Texans game, Texans are hot. CJ Stroud is spectacular. Their defense, I don't know if it can keep up with the dynamics of the Ravens offense, but historically it's not bad at all. But if you watch the playoffs in the previous years with the Ravens, outside of their Super Bowl run, they don't seem consistent. But this year, to me, they seem very consistent. They've won against winning teams. Look at their division. Their worst team was the Bengals at 9-8. The Bucks won the division at 9-8. So let's take that into account. The NFC North is very strong, even given its like weird up and down roller coaster stuff. How CJ Stroud reads that defense will be the absolute key if the Texans can even stay in the game. I'm not saying that they're going to get blown out. I would love to see it very close, but I think overall the Ravens, especially playing at home, and how much they are in sync, I think will make that difference, especially with CJ Stroud being that accurate and being offensive rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm. This is a game that
MVP at one point. With Lamar.
100%. I'm agreeing. I'm saying the same thing once again. Just like the Ravens better not come to this game with mentalities of thinking that it's a look ahead game. Like CJ Stroud is not someone to be trifled with. Like this guy, as good as that defense is, if they're not like working where they should be working, they could slip up and lose this game. Now I think that's probably I'd give that less chances than some of the other games we've talked about. But I mean, Stroud is I'm past the point where I'm just about to call a team against Stroud, because he's clearly proven that he's real, and the dude is just ridiculous.
Stroud is legit, and he's played in big games before. Like that's kind of the perk of him coming from Ohio State. He's had big games, and he's had that mentality of, we got to win every game, because I mean, like if you lose one game, especially in, from the college world that he came in, man, that could be playoffs. That could be your shot at the national championship at that point. And so he's come from this mentality where you got to win, you can play in the big moments, so he has that confidence in himself, even coming into the league now where it's a whole new dynamic. But when you look at that Ravens defense, man, getting Roquan Smith from the Chicago Bears has been absolutely game changer, because now and Patrick Queen, they've got to be the best dynamic. They've got to be the best linebacking duo in the league.
How do you feel being at like the Dallas Cowboys right now and seeing Roquan Smith balling out because they drafted him, and you're like, oh!
Wait, Dallas or Chicago?
I thought it was Dallas who actually drafted Roquan.
I thought it was Chicago.
Yeah, I think it's Chicago.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Ohio State quarterbacks and playing in the big games and stuff like that. Name the last Ohio State quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
The last one?
I'll wait for a while, like maybe a decade. Same thing with Alabama. I'll wait for another decade. Now, he does know how to play in those clutch and pressure systems, and you watch his pregame. CJ Stroud comes out and throws like a tennis ball, shoots hoops, does like really weird things.
Just like
and,
towel thing.
This whole like weird towel thing. He's like, and it was crazy because I think they had him on the Pat McAfee show in like just before the national championship game about Michigan and Ohio State and stuff like that. And they said that like Ohio State quarterbacks don't perform well under pressure and stuff like that. And he goes out and balls out against the Browns like it's no big deal. I would love to watch. Dude, I cannot wait for this weekend, though. Man.
It should be a really close game. I think that I mean, we'll get into our picks here in just a second, but let's get into this last.
One more.
Last game. Glenn.
Revenge Bowl, bro. I'm going with my boy Josh Allen right now. He's running like he's Derrick Henry throwing the football. I swear to God, if Derrick Henry goes to the Bills, I'm buying a jersey tomorrow. Like, dude, if Josh Allen has a one game to prove he is worth his grain in salt or whatever weight in salt, gold, whatever you want to call it, Bills Mafia, go get the snow shovels again, because it's going to be coming down. It's going to be an Arctic Bowl. And this is the one game that Patrick Mahomes hasn't played at home in the playoffs. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
I know. And Josh Allen is 0-2 against the Chiefs in the playoffs. So this is redemption. This is contract. This is longevity. This is legacy. He has to absolutely prove it. James Cook is coming out and, dude, he's clicking. The Bills offensively right now are at the same level, I think, as the Ravens. And when I say that, is holistically, the Bills defense was coming out and punching them in the mouth too. And
yeah, I mean, Allen is playing out of his mind.
Oh, dude, I cannot
Yeah.
wait because he's like, they put him in positions to where when he has to be dynamic, he's not afraid to do it.
Mhm.
And they don't want him taking that like weird crossbody down the field throw. They want him to make those key reads with Stephon Diggs and everything else. And, you know, everyone hates on Stephon Diggs being very greedy and everything else. Him and Josh Allen absolutely click. So, to me, the Chiefs don't have that holistic team. They showed issues with their defense. They absolutely have issues with their offense if Pacheco's not clicking. We know that because they're drop city. They're not Kansas City, they're drop city. So if Rice can't catch for Mahomes, MVS is clearly not proven to be a deep ball threat this year, which is just hits me right in the heart being a USF guy. I think this is more of the Bills' game to lose.
MV mess.
Especially at home, man.
All the
Especially at
name drops in right now. Drop City. Man. Hey, so
this is water-ish.
let's just maybe. We don't judge here.
I mean, drink what you want, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Enjoy.
So let's be real. The Kansas City Chiefs, they did exactly what they were supposed to do against a banged up Miami Dolphins team last week.
Dude, that was brutal.
A banged up.
But I mean, like,
so
let's
bad.
think about it. But let's think about it. The Miami Dolphins are so banged up on the defensive side. I think you know they had both
Andy
their
Reid's
star
mustache
pass
had more
rushers out.
defense than the Dolphins.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. So
Andy Reid's icicled mustache had more defense than the Dolphins did that game. Let's be real.
I mean, all of that.
They did exactly what they were
stars
supposed to do against the Miami Dolphins team last week, and especially in the temperatures and in the environment that it was.
Completely
right? Shout
out
out
of
to
that
that.
element. Yeah.
Shout out to that news
brutal.
media talking to Todd Bowles like, "Hey, how are you guys getting ready for the frigid
The
air
Lions-
this week?" And he's like,
Brutal.
"You know, we play indoors, right? Like,
That's
what
a
are we
dome.
talking about?"
He said, but
Yeah,
I guess walking from the bus to the dome is gonna be
He was like, "What?"
Yeah, so
Someone check that
confused.
guy.
I love his response. So, but anyways, the Bills this week, it is their game to lose. I think that I think that they're going to take it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to start us out with the Bills really quick because I think maybe we good to go through our picks now, boys. We got our picks.
Let's hit them. I'm ready.
So let's do our picks. Divisional round picks for this week. So we're gonna kick it off with the Buffalo Bills against this Kansas City Chiefs. This is gonna be a big game for Josh Allen, just as Glenn was just saying. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take the hometown team. I'm gonna take the Bills in this one. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be 27-14. I think that the defense for the Bills is gonna show up pretty solid for them, and I don't think that the receivers are going to show up, like they did last week. Actually, it was just Rice last week for Mahomes that showed up and had a heck of a game. But the Bills secondary is much better than what the Miami Dolphins secondary is, and I just think that this is going to be, kind of the Bills Mafia. I think they're just going to overpower Kansas City in this one right here. So 27-14 for my pick. I'm going to jump to the other AFC game with the not Miami Dolphins, but the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. This game, guys, I've been thinking about it all week. I really have been. I've been thinking about and I've been going back and forth. I'm like, I like Baltimore, but I mean, do I trust Lamar this year in the playoffs? And then I go to, the Texans, and I'm like, CJ Stroud and what that defense is doing, and they're finding D'Amico Ryans and everything. So I'm just like, who do I take? I'm going to call the upset. I think the Texans are going to go into Baltimore, and I think that they're going to win. And I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to the final drive for CJ Stroud. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call this game. I'm going to say it's going to be 24-27 Texans. So I think a field goal is going to win it for them there at the end of the game. I think CJ Stroud's going to have it at the end, and he's going to march his team down to get into field goal range and just send the Baltimore Ravens packing. So that's my upset pick of the week. To go to the NFC, I'll start with Green Bay and San Francisco. As much as we want to, give the praise to Jordan Love and everything that he's been doing in that defense for the Packers, I just think that San Francisco, they've just been in it for so many years now, back to back to back. And honestly, they've been in it since they were in the Super Bowl the last time with Jimmy G as quarterback when Patrick Mahomes won his first Super Bowl. And it seems like every year they've just kind of fallen just short, just due to like crazy stuff. They're healthy. They got they got that bye week, so they're going to be fully healthy. They're going to be fully regenerated. I think that they're going to come out, and I think that it's going to be a little bit of a gap. I think that they'll probably win by at least 10 points. So give me 31-21. I think that they can score in this game. So Jordan Love should play a good game, should play a clean game, but at the end of the day, I just think that offense and what Kyle Shanahan can draw up on that side of the ball is gonna just be the deciding factor with Christian McCaffrey, obviously, just kind of as we talked about. And then Tampa Lions. I'm a Tampa fan. I'm also a big Lions fan right now. So it's kind of like I was the one who cried for Jared Goff last week and everything. But I'm not going to say it's going to be. I'm not going to say it's going to be an upset this week. I'm not going to call it an upset, and I know that the Vegas odds has it as an upset, but I'm taking Tampa, man. I think that the boys are humming right now. I think that they've won the 5 of their last 6 games. I know what Detroit's doing. I know what they're doing. I think that this game is going to be an absolute dogfight. I know that we said big plays, for Tampa and big plays for what we saw the Rams were able to do last week. But I think it's going to be a dogfight. So give me 17-14 final score. Tampa wins it.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Theo, I'll let you do this one. Because I
like my boys. I got to go with my boys this week.
I'm gonna start where you ended. Okay. And how in the world can we deny the team of destiny? And that's what I'm saying.
Theo. You tell me. Listen to last episode, Theo.
Listen
to the last episode.
After beating us, they have named themselves as the team of destiny now for the postseason. This Lions team is going all the way. This Lions team is going to the Super Bowl. This Lions team, it will not be stopped. Yes, I am calling it now. The Lions
almost called it
going to the Super
too.
Bowl. And the Lions. So yeah, of course the Lions they're gonna beat the Buccaneers. It's not gonna be an easy win, but I think it's gonna be a win that the Lions kind of get in hand by the fourth quarter. I don't know. I just kind of feel like this team is is on a roll right now. The Lions have just been playing out of their minds right now. That Dan Campbell has this team humming. And I think they have the pieces that the Eagles didn't have to kind of take the Buccaneers out. So I'm going to take the Lions here and call it 27-36 Lions. Yeah,
Ooh,
big scoring game. A lot of big hits, a lot of punches to the gut, but the Lions come out in the end. Moving on to the Packers 49ers. This is going to be the game that I'm calling for the upset of the week. The Packers are going to win a defensive slugout. 21-20. Packers. They are
close one too.
There's going to be it's going to be needle. It's just going to be little plays. They're going to be dinking and dunking, and teams are going to be getting stopped and. We're gonna see a little bit of everything, but I think the Packers squeak it out at the end of the day for the win. Chiefs, Bills. I'm gonna go with the Bills. I'm gonna go with the Bills on this one. I think the Bills have what it takes to take out this Chiefs team. The Chiefs, like they said, they got away last week because the the Dolphins were the ones limping into the playoffs. This is not the case with the Bills. Josh Allen, not only is he playing insane right now, but you want to talk about a chip on a shoulder. You want to talk about a guy with something to prove. You want to talk about a guy with an axe to burn. Like, ain't no one got more of something to prove against no one else than Josh Allen does against the Chiefs. He has the debt to be paid, and it will be paid this weekend. The Chiefs, the Bills take out the Chiefs 28-36. Another big scoring game.
Ooh, another 36 gamer. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then we end with the Texans-Ravens. Texans-Ravens. I think this one is going to be a little bit more of a, what we expect. I think the Ravens take this one. I'm going to go back to my old kind of standby, like experience versus non-experience, especially on the defensive side. This defense...
That worked great for the Bills last week. Or the Browns.
Yeah, no, not so much. But it was the Browns. It was Joe Flacco. Like, come on. We're talking about Lamar Jackson here. We're talking about a very sophisticated defense. These guys have seen it all. And I think they have enough experience to give Stroud fits, to show him things that he has not seen in the NFL quite yet. And just to kind of, hey, welcome him, like just remind him that he's a rookie. I think we're going to see the rookie Stroud again this week. So give me the Ravens in 17-28 a game at the end.
Man, how do I follow this up? I had the same exact picks as Dave. Different reasons. Same exact picks. So I'll start. The Tundra Bowl.
Me and Glenn are green on something? Whoa.
Yeah, right, for the first time all season. Or maybe the second. I don't know. I'll have to recap some episodes. But Chiefs and Bills, you are not going into Highmark Stadium on the Hype Bowl for Josh Allen. You are not coming into that stadium in Buffalo at this time of the year and winning. Josh Allen's absolutely proven his worth this game. It's going to be 35-17 Bills. That's it. I'm going with an absolute spanking off of Abbott Road in Highmark.
Let's go.
Next game, let's go, right? Josh Allen. Next game, Ravens and Houston. I think Lamar chokes. I think it's close. I think CJ Stroud brings the rookiness on the chip, just like Josh Allen does with the Chiefs. And he comes in, very humble guy. And D'Amico Ryan's very humble guy. J.J. Watt comes in with a hype train towel, and he's like, let's go! And the Texans squeak one out, 21-20.
Ooh.
Next. A little predictable in this one. You got San Francisco and the Packers. I'm going with San Francisco, and here's why. Brock Purdy got gypped out of last year. Let's be real.
Yep.
He got injured during that game. It's Mr. Irrelevant. He has proven he is one of the top quarterbacks in this league, arguably top 5. As far as accuracy, QBR, yardage, he's having an MVP-type year along with his running back, CMC. Christian McCaffrey is fantastic, multifaceted. The defense is kicking. I think Kyle Shanahan comes in, and he's like, we are the 49ers, just like Joe Montana and Steve Young and Jerry Rice and all of them, right? But I don't think Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur go down without swinging. They're clicking very hard right now. I think it's more of like a 28-21 type thing with some interceptions or whatever. But I still think the 49ers take it 28-21 over the Packers. Now, I have to agree with Dave on the Bucs winning in Detroit, and here's why. You cannot stop the Baker train, okay? Todd Bowles is finally showing some emotion. I don't know what it is. It might be bath salts. It might be... But I think Baker in the Bucks got it right now, man. Our defense is flying around. We just need to click on just 3 plays or something like that, man. I guarantee you it's going to be high scoring, and it's going to just be one of those games. I'm thinking it's going to be more like a 42-37 type game.
Whoa.
I know. Crazy. Baker Mayfield is going to show that he needs to play in the NFC Championship game against another Big 12 team quarterback, Brock Purdy. He came from Iowa State. He, it's irrelevant versus Heisman winner in the NFC Championship to me. That's how I see it for the NFC.
Dude,
and
that'd be awesome.
I need the Bucks to make this a run, man. I need it. I need a Bills-Bucks Super Bowl. That's what I'm going for. Hard.
Dude, I'm with it. Trust me, I am with it because I would love to see us make a run because then that shows that we are truly a playoff team and we didn't. Granted, I will never take any flowers away from what Brady did when he was here, but we don't need him to continue our success because we have our quarterback now of the future with Baker Mayfield. And as crazy as that sounds, but guys, let's just think about it, man. We are down to the final 8 teams of the season. Okay. At the beginning of the year, especially, let's even take it from the middle of the year. The middle of the year, the Bucks were like 4-7 or something crazy like that, or 3-6. The Bills, they were 6-6 at one point during the year, and we were writing them off, right? Because they were just looking ugly. I mean, Baltimore and San Francisco, they've always just kind of been there. But, and then, of course, the Chiefs. But honestly, the Chiefs have kind of had their they've kind of like stumbled into the playoffs, right? They've stumbled into the playoffs. And then the Packers, they just kind of showed up and showed out in Dallas, and they proved that they should be Packers? Here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like wait a minute, hold on, wait. We only draft Hall of Fame quarterbacks, so let's just
hold my beer.
Let's just remember
right, exactly.
Who you are.
So remember Mufasa. It's Lombardi up in the clouds talking down.
Remember who you are.
Dude, I can't.
We're the Packers.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Clip that right there, man. That was awesome. But I mean, dude, we could potentially have no matter where you flip it, it could be Brock Purdy versus Baker Mayfield in the NFC Championship, or it could be Brock Purdy and Jared Goff, or Jared Goff and Jordan Love, or Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean? So it could be like just that alone is crazy enough. And then you go to the AFC side and you can have, Lamar or Stroud. I mean, like think of the quarterbacks that are here. I mean, the AFC is a little bit more, I guess, believable, right? But the NFC this year is like, dude, let's go. I think that is definitely one of the best seasons, for football this year, with everything. And this offseason is only lining up to be, even more better with from the deep draft class that we're getting with all the talent that's coming into the NFL this year. We'll be blessed next season. So all the coaching moves and everything else like that. So, and I mean, who knows what trades and free agency signings and everything else like that we're going to get. But fellas,
yeah, that's one of the best things about the NFL, man. The parody of it all, man. Anything can happen,
writing, right?
The script, man. The script
perfect.
writers are just top notch. Like we just had the Emmys happen last weekend. I don't know how the NFL didn't get any Emmys. I'm just like, what's going on here? Like, there's no better. Like, they weren't even nominated for the script. There's best script. I was sitting there waiting for the NFL to get called. Yeah. Snubbed again. But anyway.
Yeah,
the NFL still one reason why it's one of the most watched sports. I mean, I don't know if you guys heard, like Peacock broke records with the game that was only on Peacock last weekend, like most streamed game, most streamed content ever. That was the most streamed thing ever, live thing ever.
That's a step to the normal fan, though. I have to say that because you cannot force people to go get a subscription for something that they could have had on normal television. NFL should be ashamed of themselves
selling out a bit.
Well, it's not the only thing that they should be ashamed of with what happened this week.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, true.
For sure.
So,
yeah.
let CJ Stroud talk about what he wants to talk about. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it
If
comes
you
with
have
ups and downs.
if you have, you know, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce doing what they're doing as far as their you know, sponsors, I'll just leave it at that. Then let CJ Stroud talk about what he wants to talk about. So
That's not this. That's not.
Man, just you
Mhm.
two this time. Oh, I need that.
I'm
I need to
agreeing
go
with
write
you.
my own
I'm
script,
agreeing with
'cause
you.
You guys are just sitting here throwing
Hey.
zingers.
Y'all know where we stand on this podcast. So
oh yeah.
on business, stand
For
on
real?
business. That's what the kids saying now. Y'all hear that? That's what
I
Oh,
the
yeah.
kids
can't. I can't keep up
All
with today.
business.
standing on business.
Was it no cap?
Yeah.
Right? No cap.
No cap,
jeez.
no filter, all that good stuff.
100%.
Jeez.
Woo,
Something like
I
that.
think we need to get out of there before
I'm
we
old,
age
man.
ourselves.
There's
Before we
some-
age
I don't-
We need to
ourselves
get out of here.
anymore.
These guys have listened to us for way too long.
Yeah,
you know,
we're
right
aging
here.
ourselves too much. Yeah.
Is there gray? I don't even know if
Y'all
I have
can't
gray
see
in
it,
my
man.
beard.
I got a
had
little bit of
one. I had to pull it out. I was like, get out of here. You know,
No, I think I have like one over here.
Mhm.
I just leave it. It is what it is. Hey, it's better. It's better than having nothing, you know. So I mean, that's why I had the beard to make up for the lack of hair up here. So
You wear it well, man. You wear it well.
One of the listeners, James, he's one of my mentees, dude. And he's always called me the old man, and I gotta admit, yeah, I am. I'll say that.
Hey, you gotta
man.
go into it gracefully, man. We gracefully we
Absolutely.
age over here, man.
We got
Fine
these
wine
bags,
over here.
man.
Fine wine.
yes, that's just kids right there for you, though, Glenn. Don't
Yeah.
worry
Kid.
about that.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
No kid.
You gotta put them
So-
over your lap.
Oh, guys, it's been awesome. We got the divisional. Jeez.
We can't, dude.
Dude, we're gonna get canceled one way or another. I mean, it's just
yeah.
we're just
God.
I take
Bro,
it back.
yeah.
I take it back.
Well, guys,
Internet.
it's been real.
I take it back.
No,
It's
let it
been
fly.
real.
Let's roll, dude.
You know?
David, take us out before I get any more trouble. Go ahead.
I don't even know what to say after that. But hey, enjoy the divisional round week.
Yeah.
It should be a hell of a games this week. We should see a lot more closer games. You see our picks. What are your picks? We want to hear from you. Leave those picks down in the comments. Like this video, share this video, subscribe if you are new to this channel. And if you are still one of our listeners on the Apple podcast or, you know, Spotify podcast, if you're still doing
going.
only audio, we definitely appreciate you guys. But you can find us over at our YouTube channel now, where we are getting much more active and you know, just putting out more and more content. Go ahead and follow us on our socials, which I'll leave that up to Glenn because he has a fantastic memory and I'm horrible with that. So,
You know, I have a fantastic memory with certain things. Just my wife would probably say something different. She's like, you always remember the
It's okay,
weirdest
though.
things, right?
it's all right.
I'm that guy who has like a bunch of useless knowledge, just so everyone understands. But yeah,
It's
we
not
got,
useless to us, though, Glenn. It's not useless to us.
for the socials, yeah, man, we got the Gmail at the BeardZone Podcast at gmail.com. We got Twitter at the BeardZone Pod. We got Instagram at the BeardZone Football Podcast. And we got Facebook as well at the BeardZone Podcast. Obviously, the YouTube channel, just look it up, the BeardZone Podcast. We got the logo there, the bearded helmet dude with the football in the zone, right? Think about it, red zone, end zone, beard zone. We're still
Yeah,
doing the beard zone,
buddy.
talking football. Three bearded
Yeah,
guys talking
buddy.
football with average Joes talking and analyzing football from our own side, right? We got three different
Yep.
types of point of views. We got NFL, we got college, we got fantasy, we got stats, we got perspectives, we got different views. Just come hear us out. That's all we're saying.
Yes, and next week, me and Glenn will be doing our college episode, so stay ahead and look out for that as well. But if you're watching us right now, we do release all these videos out on Thursdays at around 11 a.m., so you can be looking out for that on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. But yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys and love you guys, and thank you for the support. Gentlemen, before we leave, what do you got for the people?
I got nothing, man. Let's get to this divisional round. Looking forward to these games and looking forward to next week's episode when my picks come to fruition.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
okay.
For next
right.
week's college episode, if you guys have tuned in for this long, we've already touched it earlier in the episode. We're going to be tackling quarterbacks. Dave and I are just going to take our top 5 guys that we think are those guys to draft for at least the QB position and why we rank them where we put them. That's about it.
Oh, I
y'all.
love that. There's fantasy ramifications of that too, so I'm looking forward to that episode myself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
On that note, y'all, it's been real. BeardZone out.